Hi, welcome back to Hydroponics Daily. Today we're moving on to propagation and we're going to talk about taking cuttings, which is a very common way of propagating your plants. It allows you to maintain the genetics of the mother plant, so it's good for that reason, and it's also good because you get a young plant very quickly, whereas with seeds, some seeds can take many weeks to get to the sort of young plant stage. So with a cutting, you're making a clone. That's another phrase for it. So clones or cuttings. In hydroponics, people tend to refer to them as clones, but in horticulture in general, it's cuttings. And you take young stems off a mother plant, and it's important you don't take them off older tissue, and also from mother plants that have never flowered, because once they are flowered and they've become mature, then the success rates of rooting is much lower. This Swiss cheese plant, for example, here, this is a juvenile leaf because it's not got any indentation, no holes in it. This is a mature leaf down here. The stems from the mature part of the plant would be far lower success rate of rooting. Same with eucalyptus. They have two different types of leaves depending on whether they're mature. And so if that plant has flowered, then your chance of success are much lower. You also want to choose upright stems because they'll have more auxin travelling down them from the top of the plant, whereas side stems, lower branches, far less auxin, which is synthesized in the meristem, the bud at the top. It travels down the cells of the plant and they accumulate at the bottom where they promote rooting. Now, if you've got a side stem, they're not going to much auxin coming out of them. So always try and choose them from the top, a non-flowering stem, because the flower will just take up energy as well. So that flower wants to develop. It's already got the cells there. It's already got all the apparatus it needs to produce a flower, and then you cut it off, and then it's like, well, I'm not going to revert now to vegetative growth, and so it just dies off. So that's the important part when it comes to the mother plant, making sure it's disease-free, making sure it's pest-free, and making sure that you harvest the cuttings early on in the day when the cells in the cutting are going to be full of water because they've soaked up the water during the night. They're going to be 100% turgid. Whereas if you did them in the midday or later on in the day, they've evaporated, they've transpired, and then they're waiting for that pull of the water to come up. So success rate would be much better if you take it first thing in the morning. And what else can we say about taking cuttings? When you take them, if you're taking a lot of cuttings, make sure you store the cuttings in sort of damp paper or hessian or tea towels, things like this, so that they don't evaporate water while you're taking more cuttings. Because if they're there drying out on a table, then they're dying. And the water they lose when they're a cutting is critical because they have to keep hold of that water for weeks until the roots are developed. So try taking them in batches or one at a time and striking them, putting them into the humid environment. And so that's critical when it comes to choosing the time and the place and the plants to pick off. Obviously, you want to choose good genetics, good plants to take the material from. If you're choosing a variegated plant, you'll need to choose from the area of the plant with the variegation that you want. And it's important to note that some plants you cannot propagate via cuttings. So certain conifers, for example, cannot be cultivated by cuttings. Others, some conifers you can, but others you have to grow by seed or layering and things like this. So that's important to note. And also important to note that if it's a variety that is protected by plant breeders' rights, if you're protecting the genetics, then if you're propagating them, officially you need to pay some money towards the breeder of that plant to propagate it. So, for example, I can't think of one. Black lace, a type of elder, that you'd have to pay the royalties to the people who bred black lace down in East Malling. So that's an example of a plant. Or strawberries. Strawberries are a great example. All the strawberries there'll be a breeder for all the main varieties of strawberries, although yeah, you don't use cuttings for strawberries. So what the hell am I talking about? That's Hydroponics Daily for today. Cuttings. We're going to talk about the techniques tomorrow. Okay, thank you.